I don't consider myself an expert. I consider myself a practitioner of a craft. I learn something every time I bake, every class that I teach. I learn something all the time. I feel like the luckiest when I'm teaching, because I'm continuing to learn. I don't think that it's possible to know everything that there is to know about pie in one lifetime. It's an immense subject.
Exactly. But we can try and eat as much as we can, right?
Hi, I'm Kate McDermott of Art of the Pie, and you're here in my kitchen at Pie Cottage today in Port Angeles, Washington, and I'm excited to be here with Mel Wanders to be talking pie with you today.
And I am Melanie Wanders. Most of you have had me in class, know me as Mel. I'm an instructor here at the baking school, and I am in our owner's room in Norwich, Vermont. And I think it's important as we kind of start talking about this that there's not a right or a wrong pie, that pie is so subjective that it's kind of the pie that you like is the best pie for you. And some people might like a saltier crust, some people might like butter crust, some people like filling with a little sauciness, some people like it to be very, firm and sliceable. Whatever feels good to you is the best pie for you.
I totally agree. I think the main thing is just that that we make pie. We continue to craft.
So I'm going to jump in here with one of our first questions, which I think is really good, thickeners in general. What is your preferred fruit pie thickener, tapioca flour or something else?
Tapioca, which is either tapioca starch in its floury form or quick cooking tapioca, which I often say is a pie maker's best friend. And also cornstarch, which I use, and I use the tapioca for a lot of the juicy fruit pies. Which would be the categories of berries, cherries, rhubarb, things like that, stone fruits. The cornstarch I use for fillings that are going to be cooked on the top of the stove, but I've also used it for a cherry pie because if it's nice, it keeps that nice shiny quality. And then I use flour also, and I'll use that in an apple pie or a pear pie. And I've also, if I have a super, super juicy pie, maybe I will take 2 tablespoons of the tapioca and then put a heaping tablespoon of flour in with it too.
I tend to like mine a little saucier, and I don't mind if the filling isn't perfectly clear. So I tend to just use a combination or one or the other of flour and cornstarch because I tend to always have them in my pantry.
When you are using your thickener, whatever it is, be sure and see the steady bubbling coming through your vents so that you know that, all of your ingredients in your fruit pie filling have actually cooked. If you don't see any bubbling coming through the vents or through the top of the lattice, it probably needs to be in there longer, and then to let your pie set up.
When we're baking pies like that, it's so hard. You see the crust kind of browning, particularly if you use an all butter crust. And then you're thinking, oh, the inside's definitely done, but it's really trying to remember that those thickeners need to come to a full boil to have their maximum thickening power. It's so hard to not cut into a really warm piece of pie, but it'll set up much better if you can let it cool.
It has to have a little bit of ooze.
Just a little saucy.